business text is the
weird.
funny thing.
And I also don't know if you realize this. When you got out of your car, I pulled in just right before you did, and I realized the FedEx guy dropped me 3 huge boxes of frozen rats out there. Here we are again, back in, still in my little office here, because I've still not got around to moving all this shit. And not sure when I will, because I still haven't got around to getting the internet installed in the building.
Oh, you don't have internet there yet?
I have internet, but I don't have it, like it's hooked up and the router's there, but it's not, all the wiring's not done. There's no Wi-Fi in the building. There's no... It needs a little bit of work done before I can set all this stuff upstairs and have it ready to go. I just have been doing other shit. I got a convention coming up in about 18 days or something like that.
Yeah,
and
that's...
I've been a little busy.
Yeah, that's a little bit more of the budget and the income projection.
Yeah,
for you for the year than this podcast.
I call it feeding the fat kid. Got to take care of the fat kid. But yeah, that's all that said. I got up this morning, went there and fed snakes for half the morning. Just left there late because a guy showed up there, and I had to send you a text and say, "Hey, I'm going to be 15 minutes late," because by the time he was walking in the door, I was trying to walk out, and I knew I was. I knew it was going to take me 15 minutes to get rid of him. Sorry, Nick. I know you don't listen to this, but I was trying to get rid of him. Anyway.
It's funny that I assume, because you had texted about the snakes breeding.
Yeah.
And then I commented that, don't you wish that the snakes had sex sounds?
Yeah.
And then you're like, wrong person.
Yeah. Well, I had sent that text to... a buddy of mine that also breeds snakes, and I'd commented that my king snakes were all breeding like hell, but my rat snakes were holding out. They weren't in the mood or whatever. And then I realized that I sent that to you, and I was like, you don't give a fuck whether my king snakes are breeding or not.
Well, no,
but it would have been funny. It would be funny if they made sex now, which they do sometimes. They'll thrash around in the drawers or whatever.
Well, the funny thing is the text actually said something about the king snakes were breeding like crazy, but the rats aren't down for it, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big snake person, so I don't instantly go rat snakes. What he's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what the fuck do the rats running around in their food? What do they fucking care?
Why do they care? They don't give a fuck. Seems like it'd be better for them if the snakes were preoccupied.
Yeah, leave me alone for a minute.
Anyway, that's where I'm at in life right now. My king snakes are doing exactly what they're supposed to, and my rat snakes are looking at me like, our standards are higher than this. We can't be doing this under this kind of pressure right now.
Yeah, our business texts are a little different. Different quantity or a little different context.
Yeah, I go back and forth whether that's a business text or not. It is, but it's not. But it is. And that's weird. That's really, that's not something most people are texting back and forth about, really.
The fact that it could even potentially be a business text is the
weird.
Funny thing.
And I also don't know if you realize this. When you got out of your car, I pulled in just right before you did, and I realized the FedEx guy dropped me 3 huge boxes of frozen rats out there.
Yep.
And my FedEx guy has to wonder what that's about, but he thinks it's rat poison. Because he told me shout out to ARS. You owe me money now. But anyway, so he thinks I'm ordering rat poison. So he must think I'm infested.
You've got a
with
hell
rats.
of a problem.
Yeah. Because he said to me twice, your rat poison showed up. Oh, okay.
And you just let it ride.
I just let it go. I don't care. I guess he thinks, rodent supply is stuff for exterminators that are taking care of rodents or whatever. I don't know. It's...
That's funny. Isn't that funny how we all do this? And it's almost like a business decision in the moment. It's like, okay, I can tell him what this really is, and then now we're going to have another 5 or 10 minute conversation. Yeah. Or it's almost like whenever someone, you're with somebody and they're like, here's, there's like, what's your wife's name?
Call her Edna. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's my daughter, but it's gonna be easier in a moment. Yeah. Just let it ride. Or it's my cousin. Or
we have so much fun going to cons with, like, a lot of times it's me, my son, Katrina, and Amanda, and people can't figure out who the fuck is who in that situation.
Yep. They're
like, so your wife or your daughter, or is that your son? Is it? And nobody knows who the fuck anybody is. And I don't know why they're so invested in it, but it doesn't matter. Like, why do they care so much? But
I don't know how to address you.
I do not know how to address you. So anyway, we confuse a lot of people sometimes. We confuse ourselves a lot. But anyway, the house 2 houses up from me is for sale, and I'm conflicted about it because I've always said if any of the houses that touch my yard go for sale, I want to buy them. But this one doesn't exactly touch my yard, so
yeah, it's a little adjacent.
You never know who you want to move in next to you, so
one of those.
Yeah. And my neighbors, speaking of people that think I'm weird, my neighbors have to think I'm just fucking crazy because I know they've seen some shit. I know that. Okay, so I probably shouldn't tell this story. But the other night, this has been a month ago, like 2 a.m, I'm pulling snake drawers open and just checking on things. And I had a snake that it hadn't been doing great anyway. But anyway, it died. And every time you get a snake that dies, you deal with life, you deal with death. That's kind of the thing. But when I get a snake that dies, I'm always questioning, what the fuck did I do with it? So I've put them in the trash at times, and I always think, if the dog in the neighborhood tears my trash open, my trash guys are going to freak out if they, or when they throw it in the truck, the bag gets ripped open or whatever, and a snake falls out on somebody, they'll fucking freak out. And then, so for the longest time, I used to just put everything in the freezer for no good fucking reason. Just because it was just something you could do. They then wouldn't smell, and you freeze it, and you think, well, I might do something with that later. Because there's all these people that are selling oddities and shit. And I used to have people that would pay me for dead snakes if we froze them because they put them in a jar of formaldehyde and sell them or whatever. But then the freezer gets full of shit, and you go to get a fucking Hot Pocket or whatever the fuck. Pizza rolls or whatever. Full of dead snakes. And it's full of dead snakes, and you open the freezer and something's looking at you, and you're like, ooh, the fuck, I already got frozen rodents in the freezer. I don't need frozen snakes in there too. So anyway, it's like late at night, and I take this snake and I go out in my driveway and I'm looking at it, and I give it what we like to call an aerial burial. Yep. Where you just sling it as hard as you can sling it over in the woods, and a fox or a coyote or something will find it later or whatever. Well, anyway, I throw it, and it gets caught in a tree right beside the road, just dangling there forever. I'm like, fuck. So now it's like a pair of tennis shoes hanging off a fucking electric line or whatever out there, and it's just dangling there, big fucking snake. And I look over, and my neighbor watches me do it. And doesn't say a word or whatever. It's like 2 a.m, though.
Yeah. The fuck's the neighbor out watching?
I don't know. It's like my neighbors have to think I'm fucking crazy just for the shit that gets delivered here, or they see me moving box trucks in and out all the time, and whatever. And I don't really talk to my neighbors much. We're friendly acquaintances. I wave, they wave.
Yep.
So I wonder all the time what they think about me or whatever, but I guess I don't really care. So yep. Every once in a while, my neighbor on this side of me will get curious about something. She'll text me, because when I first moved in, we traded phone numbers, and she'll text me and say, "I'm sorry, I'm being nosy. What the hell are you doing?" Every now, it's like twice a year, she'll be at the end of her rope about what's going on.
Yeah, I've seen too many pallets.
Yeah, too many. Yeah. There's too much shit going in and out of there. Yeah. Anyway, they. Do you have that problem? Do you have good neighbors? For one, I should say I have great neighbors. Yeah. So far, they probably think I'm crazy, but they don't give me any shit. So, do you have good neighbors?
Yeah, my neighbors, I'm the same way. Friendly. I'll wave, do that. I'm not the the cul-de-sac guy to where everybody, let's all get together and have a, 10 or 12 cookouts a year and all that good stuff. But one of the things that my neighbors do that just drives me batshit crazy, and luckily I'm not on it, is they've all got a group text.
Oh, God.
The neighborhood group text, and it's, it's gossip, like, oh, this person's dog shit in my yard, and they didn't even come, I'm like,
oh I hope God. Like hell my neighbors don't have one.
Yeah. So, I am not on it. That Dixie is aware of it, or she may have been on it at some point, but I'm just like, any of that stuff comes up, and there's been times where it's like, oh, somebody said something. I was like, I do not care that 4 neighbors down had a dog shit. Because dogs have shit in my yard, since I've been there. It's just, it's part of the deal. But
when did that become a problem, by the way? Because growing up, as a kid,
dogs could run wherever they wanted to.
Dogs could go wherever the fuck they wanted to and shit in whoever's yard they wanted to. And every now and then, while you're outside playing, you step in dog shit, and that was just a thing that happened to you, and you went, "Ah, shit!
Yeah, let me go get a stick and dig it out."
And it built character to have to get the dog shit out of your shoe.
You're trying to get out of each ridge.
Yeah, so I don't understand when that became a problem. Also, I probably had 25 dogs growing up over the course of my lifetime. Maybe not that many, 20 maybe.
Yep.
They just lived outside in the yard. And, if you got a new dog, you brought it home, you set it on the porch, you put a food bowl out there. And it knew, by God, that's where it lived because that's where the food bowl was. And, so a kid that works for me, and he's not a kid, he's a grown-ass man that works for me, got married a couple years ago, and him and his wife get a house, and a dog comes in there, or 2 dogs run into their yard and run through the yard. And they straight kidnapped those dogs. They caught them and took them inside their house. And they still have them, by the way, because they asked like 3 or 4 people, "Is this your dog?" And nobody said yes. So they just said, "Well, these dogs have been abandoned," or whatever. And they kept the fucking dogs. And I tell him all the time, I say, "You stole those dogs. Those were somebody's fucking dogs that you just straight up stole." And he said, "No, nobody was looking for them, or somebody abandoned them." When I was a kid, if somebody's dog ran through your yard, you went, wonder whose dog that is.
Yeah.
And then you went on about your life.
Yep. Moved on.
Yeah. I don't know when we got there, and it's great, we're as a society, we're taking care of animals better than we used to.
Yeah.
But it's still, as an old country boy, that's one of the things that stands out to me a lot is, when my dogs get outside, I freak the fuck out. Yep. And I don't know why that is, because my entire life I had dogs that just lived outside.
Yeah, I think the people, to tell you another thing, that we got a Ring doorbell. The neighborhood shit that's on the Ring doorbell. Somebody's pink fluffle dog was I just saw it in my driveway. I guess to some degree, some of that is kind of cool because maybe you can quickly find a dog.
So but people walk around and get in front of your doorbell and say things and leave you
apparently
messages?
The Ring doorbell picks up random shit, right? It'll notice if there's movement in the yard.
Okay.
And then what'll happen is there's AI that's built into that'll pop up and go, or you can go in and put a message. So you're like, oh, I was looking through, like, the Ring doorbell will track, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll tell you there was movement in your yard. You can go back and look at the movement and go, oh, that was a little dog.
Yeah.
So what people will do is they'll go on and put messages, because these neighborhoods are connected by this thing, and it'll say, just saw a Shih Tzu with a pink collar going through this yard.
I did not know.
Here's
that
my
was a
address.
Thing. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I mean, some of it is good, but I mean, I'm very anti getting in somebody else's fucking business, or getting in, or wanting you in my business. So there was at one point where one particular neighbor's dog was shitting in my yard. I became its litter box.
Yeah.
And it never shit in her own yard. And I did what I was just like, hey, your dog's been shitting in the yard. No biggie, but do you think we can try to, start working on that? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Guess what? Within a couple weeks, the dog didn't shit my yard anymore because whenever she'd put the dog out, she would go out. If it tried to go into my yard or anybody else's yard, she would yell and say, no, back over here. And eventually the dog was like, okay, I shit over here now.
Yeah.
So versus putting it on a group text that then turns into, that's the other thing that in this group text, what they do is
It's all passive aggressive.
and they'll leave out the person they're really bitching about sometimes. So sometimes they'll have the person in there and they'll talk around them, or sometimes they'll bitch and then you get 4 or 5 other people that have no problem with them, but they like you more for whatever reason. So then they jump on your bandwagon and now you got 10 neighbors that hate this one person that is a good person that just...
They just happen to have a little white dog that shits in your yard, yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time that became a thing to me because I had a little dog and I never thought shit about it. She went outside to take a shit, and my neighbor at the time, love his heart, Randy, I hope he listens to this. I love him, but Randy is one of these guys that has he's had a bear, he has chickens, goats, he had a horse in the yard for a while. I mean, he's into critters and shit like I am, and he's also a big wheeler dealer kind of guy. He's always buying and selling something.
So your kind of people.
He's my kind of people. He really is. He and I were real good buddies. Still are. But anyway, he come to me one day, he said, Sugar, that's my dog. He said, Sugar comes over and shits on my sidewalk every day. And I just laughed. I thought it was funnier than hell. I said, hell, she knows exactly where to go. I trained it. Took me a year to train her to do that, Randy. And it didn't occur to me at the time, because it's been 15 or 20 years ago probably. At the time, it didn't even occur to me that he was really upset about it or whatever, So he mentioned it to me again later, and I said, well, I'll try to figure out how to get her to stay in the yard or whatever. But she didn't want to shit in the grass. She wanted to shit on the sidewalk.
A little cleaner for her.
Yeah. Which Franklin's like that, man. If it's raining or some shit, Franklin, get the hell down. Leave Ryan alone. Franklin does not like to go shit in the yard if it's rainy.
You don't want his little tail wet.
Yeah, he don't want to get his feet wet. He wants to shit on the sidewalk. And that's kind of a pain in the ass. Shout out to my lawn mowing guy, though, because Franklin shits that backyard completely up. I never pick it up at all. And my yard mowing guy just mows that shit right over.
Huh. It's fertilizer.
Yep. Don't give a damn. Riding lawnmower, fuck it. He's out there, by God, mowing. Tearing it up. So, I don't know. It does become a problem when you've got 2, sometimes there's 3 or 4 dogs here, and that is a little fenced-in backyard. They can leave some turds out there, Yeah. There can be a quantity of turds.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it's not a small yard, but it's not a huge yard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and they tend to go pretty similar spots. So, they probably load it up. Franklin
will piss within 5 feet of where he pisses every time. He doesn't. he bats 1,000 on pissing in that little square. Franklin, honey, they said let him ease back into his normal life, and I said too late. He's already
well into it.
He's eased. He's already eased into it. But anyway, shit. That's probably enough bullshit about dog shit.
Yeah, that's probably all I want to hear.
We have massaged the dog shit till there's no more to talk about. So what else is up? You got a question, or do you want me to have one, or what?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
It's a little fucked up.
Oh, but good kind.
Yep.
I like it. I'm here for it.
I'm curious what would you choose if you had to either instantly lose every memory that you've ever had? So basically, bam, instant amnesia from a head thing, or lose every single friend you have, and work friends or anything like that. Anybody that's truly in your head is a friend. You either lose all your friends, or would you rather? Which one of those two?
That is tough. That truly is. That's a really.
It's a mind fuck, isn't it?
It is kind of a mind fuck. It really is. Because I think if I lost the memories, but I kept the friends, could help me reclaim the memories. Do you know what I'm saying?
They are, but they're just
But
gonna be,
would you remember they were
somebody
friends?
gonna be telling you a story.
Would you remember they were
That's
your
the
friends?
uniqueness of the question.
Yeah. So it's the old Hungarian clusterfuck.
I think
here.
you would remember their friends, but you don't remember any of the history that led up to that. You're just like, I know that person is my people.
Okay, first off, I don't want to do either. But I think I would lose the friends because if you lose the memories, the friends don't count anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't remember, I mean, you remember they're your friends, but you don't know why. Although it's easier to go forward with the friends than with the man. I don't know. This one's tough, Ryan.
To me, this one's tough. As I was even thinking about it, I was kind of struggling with it.
Yeah.
But I think, God, I almost feel like that I would have to go. I don't know that I could. I don't know that I want to lose all the memories of like all the family, all the grandparent, all the life that's brought you up to that point.
Without your memories, who are you though? I mean, you don't know who you are.
You're just starting over. You're like,
yeah,
I am a new person now.
Yeah. Amnesia is one of those things that fucks with me a little bit because, like, I don't know. I don't understand where you go if you wake up and do you remember how to add, how to subtract? And I guess every case of quote unquote amnesia is different. I think mostly it affects. I don't even know. I think there's some debate over whether amnesia is real. Amnesia would be a good way to get out of legal trouble.
I think, but the problem is that amnesia really, I think it would be tough. Like true, real, would be very tough to fake. Not impossible if you were a fucking savant or something, but I think the average person, there's no way I could fake true, real amnesia and keep that up for any amount of time.
Okay, amnesia is a real medical condition involving partial or total memory loss. Somewhere I thought I read that there was some debate over whether it was real, but this seems to be pretty literally.
I had never heard that it was potentially not real.
It is a symptom of underlying issues like stroke or Alzheimer's. But again, how do you know who you are if you wake up? You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't know what your morals or values or life is. But do you? What I don't know is, do you remember the things? If you have real amnesia, how do you know how to talk? You learned how to talk.
Yeah,
you learned the English language.
It's not quite how it works.
Well, how do we know how the fuck it works?
So, well, I've never had amnesia,
right?
So I can't speak to that. But I mean, from what I've seen, what I've read, what I've experienced is it's more of the memories of who you are. It's not necessarily motor function and.
Oh, wait a minute. Amnesia refers to the loss of memories, including facts, information, experiences. Movies and television tend to show people with amnesia forgetting who they are, but that's not generally the case. Instead, people with amnesia typically know who they are, but they may have trouble learning new information or forming new memories. And this is from the Mayo Clinic. So maybe that's where I was convoluting that the amnesia you see in TV and shit is not a real thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't watch a sitcom as though it's watching Web.
Well, everything I know about medicine I learned from ER.
Yeah, from ER.
Yeah, Motel
from
Hell.
Scrubs. I learned from Scrubs, so I'm even more.
Scrubs, yeah. We watched ER at Motel Hell when I was in college. But anyway, I don't know, man. That's a really tough question. It truly is. Okay, so now I'm changing my mind. I'm losing the memories, but I'm keeping the friends because the friends can help you navigate going forward. The other thing I'll say is I have a massive circle of friendlies, but I ain't got very many damn friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they laugh all the time about people walk up to me and say, "Hey, how you been? I haven't seen you in a long time," or whatever, and they walk away, and I go, gosh, I don't know who the fuck
I've
that
seen
was.
I witnessed it.
Yeah. I don't know. Who
Some
the fuck
guy,
that was.
random guy rode up on a
bicycle. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but I don't have. I got a real small circle of true friends, good friends. So I think I'd keep those people.
Yeah,
I do. But man, that is a really tough question because I am also one of these people that really values my memories and my past.
yeah. That's where I was struggling.
Yeah,
You know, I don't know that I could. If I had a gun to my head, and you're like, you pick one of these two options, that's where I think I would have to go with the memories. As much as I would hate to lose, again, I don't have 30, 40 friends. You know?
Yeah.
I've got a
I
very
can't afford to
small
lose the
group.
ones I got. Yeah.
But gun to head, I don't know that I could function without having the memories with my kids and trips and my parents and my grandparents and all that.
Again, though, as long as you have them to go forward, you can make new ones.
But you're losing the friends.
I know.
I mean, you're not losing the friends.
You're losing the memory. You're losing the memory of why they're your friends.
But my friend doesn't have the memory of me taking my kid to the beach for the first time. And,
That's true.
You know,
I'm saying
laying in bed.
I'm saying with good friends, you can make more memories.
Yes. Yeah.
Unless having amnesia causes you to not be able to make new memories. My dad told me the other day that his 30-second memory was starting to fail. And I think he was kidding. I do. I hope he was kidding. But the 30-second memory, I see that's just my everyday life. If I will walk from here to the kitchen and not remember why I went to the kitchen. Yeah. So my 30-second memory is, I don't know that I have. And I tell a lot of people, I don't have enough RAM. My RAM is full, or, I can write shit to the hard drive still, but I don't have very good RAM.
Yeah. You burned that one up.
Yeah. I'm functioning on like 8 megabytes of RAM, and I got to have a hard reboot to clear that shit out sometimes and be able to remember stuff. I don't know, man. I do deeply value my memories, my story, my journey, whatever. I say a lot of times, I've been underneath the world and I've been on top of it, and I figure I'll be both places again one day. But all that kind of led me here, so I value all that shit. So I guess my question for you is absolutely different from yours. Yours is very deep. I've been thinking a lot about, I am in my event hell right now. I am I'm trying to still take care of the snakes and the critters and all that, but all
mind consumption
is rolling towards my event. And what I was thinking about is you're in a completely different world of what you do. But if you did what I do, if you were an event promoter, what kind of event would you do? First off, I guess, do you go to anything other? You come to mine because it's mine and you've been there a time or two, and it's a thing. But do you go to anything else religiously? Concerts, I know. Are you going to be a concert promoter?
It's probably going to be.
If you're a promoter, is it a music festival?
It's going to be it's going to be something to do with music.
Okay, so who's headlining your music festival?
So if I just get to go through and just pick all. Man, I tell you.
First off, describe to me the vibe of your music festival? Is it an outdoor hippie fest, or is it a fucking indoor arena rock concert?
Yeah,
is it Guns N' Roses, or is it?
It's funny. The first thing that pops to my head to what I would want to do is probably going to be an outside music festival.
Yeah. That
said, the idea of getting in and out of music festivals is not like. We went to Redbird, went that with Bryce and that kind of stuff, and there was a lot of walking and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was kind of cool that you had music here, you had about 3 stages, and you're like, okay, I'm really feeling this, but I don't care for that. So then you walk over and you get, somebody else different. I think that one of the things that I find really exciting is like songwriting and that kind of stuff. So, if there was a way to pull off a songwriting festival to where people got to participate and it wasn't just like, oh, I live in Nashville and I write songs all day. That's cool, but it'd be kind of cool if there's ways to integrate people that are on the way up, and I'm sure there's stuff out there, but I mean that would be intriguing to me. Anything like one of the things that I like about the con that you do is it is not like some of the guests that you bring in. If I was like pulled away, I didn't know Jarrod, and they're like, okay, Ryan, what kind of guests go to what kind of speakers and guests do we bring to Comic-Cons? Before I know you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to be in some type of superhero movie or science fiction or whatever box. You have to fit this box, and you can be any actor or anything like that. But for the most part, it's probably very comic driven. And one of the things that I think you do, or at least from my perspective anyway, from the outside looking in, is it is more of there's almost like a little bit of a hybrid. It is very Power Ranger toy. It's very driven with that, but yet there may be somebody from Twilight. Good example. To me, Twilight wouldn't have been what I would have traditionally thought would be a con person or a con type thing. I understand why that is in that genre now, just because of Jarrod and Jason education and understanding how that works. But I think something like that, I would enjoy bringing in cool people from TV and film and that kind of stuff. So more of a film, TV, entertainment kind of realm, not as much having to be just toys or something, as if that makes sense. Like I said, there's all these shit is out there. I think a horror thing would be fucking awesome. Yeah, that would probably be my next favorite is a horror con.
Have you ever went to the horror con in Lexington? It's called the Scarefest.
No.
It's pretty killer. You should go to it, really.
Your con is the only con I've ever went to in my entire life. And if you would have asked me whenever 15, 20 years ago, would you go to cons? My answer would have been emphatically, hell no.
Hell no. Fucking nerds.
Yeah. And that was my thought.
Yeah,
and I think that's everybody's initial thought of what everybody thinks, that if you're into comics, you're nerds. Yeah. And it's not until you kind of let yourself see the other side of that or go to one where you're like, oh, that's just, they're like me.
It's kind of a beautiful thing. Around my office, that's something that gets thrown around a lot, because any given day, there's 3 or 4 or 5 of us around the office or whatever, and somebody will come up with something for the con that they're passionate about or whatever, and Katrina's really into Lego and a few other things, and Brian, the guy that does my toy sorting and maintenance and stuff, he's really into Transformers and G.I. Joe, and so anyway, everybody kind of and Lucas is really into comics. Anyway, there's all these things, and somebody will say, hey, we should get this because I'm really passionate about it, and then they'll spew about why or whatever, and you're like, you're a fucking nerd. But we're all nerds about something. You know? It's I don't know. That's kind of the beauty of a Comic-Con, I think, really is. And there's all this debate online over whether or not we should even be calling them Comic-Cons anymore. They are rooted in comic books for sure, and we try to maintain serving that comic god a little bit, and always having the basis around comic books. But man, they branch out everywhere. They really do. Yeah. It's kind of like the whole 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon kind of thing. I am Lexington Comic and Toy Convention, so it's like, okay, why did you have this person? Well, one time back in 1997, there was an action figure made of him.
Yep.
Or
he
whatever.
Counts.
It's a toy. It counts.
Yeah.
Or he was in the Superman movie back in 1981. I know he's been in 100 other movies since and never done anything else, but
he did it once.
This little thing, by the way,
that is
shout out to this little thing.
That's a toy, yeah.
Yep. It charges your phone and holds it at the same time, and while you're laying in bed, you can just scroll TikTok without having to hold your phone. It's the coolest thing ever. It's actually Katrina's, but I saw it and stole it.
So now it's Jared.
Now it's Jared's. She's probably going to have to buy herself a new one. That's just where we're at. But anyway, I have always, back to your original statement, I have always wanted to do an outdoor music festival of some sort, but I am scared to death of rain. And I know that a lot of the music festivals just happen in the rain.
That's what I was going to say. That's almost part of the thing.
Yeah, we've got to the point where rain doesn't cancel shit anymore.
It rained, the one that I was referring to down at the Railbird.
Yeah.
It rained and, okay.
So I'm going to curse myself right here publicly. I'm going to knock on wood as I'm saying this. Every year in the meetings for the lead up to the con, we have the discussion of, we have this massive line of people outside waiting to get in before the con opens. The con opens at 10. From 9:30 to 10, there is a massive line wraps around the damn block waiting to get in the building. And we always have this discussion of what are we going to do if it comes a huge thunderstorm or whatever in that time period. And it's always like, them people going to get wet. And I don't know what else to do about it, but that's my worst fear, honestly, that the 9:30 line gets rained on. Just because we've had a few mornings when it was really cold, and you go out there and you see these little kids in their little costumes and shit sitting out there on the street freezing to death, and I always feel like an asshole over that, but I don't know how to combat it. But if it would rain, I think I would feel like a piece of shit. But there's nothing to do about it. There's just nothing to do about it.
But here's the thing. There's a little bit of information out there, little bit of technology. These people that are coming and doing that, they know it's going to fucking rain.
Yeah.
They know it's going to be cold. They know whatever that they are going out there, they know that's a possibility. And they're still making that decision.
They also, and this is human nature. It is. They also feel like they have to be there and be in line when it opens. Fucking wait till 10:30 and come.
Yeah.
Or,
well, they can't be first in line if they wait till 10:30 because then everybody else.
Actually, I don't want to say that. I don't want to put that information out there because sometimes the 10:30 to 11:30 line is fucking longer than a.
Yeah.
And we actually encourage people to be there early and all that shit. But being first in line is a weird thing. It really is. It's such a badge of honor to some of the folks. I was one of the first 4 people in line to meet him or whatever. I don't know. I guess they could go wait in their car until the door opens. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fucked up. I'm scared to death one day it's going to happen. I really am. Anyway, what else? I will say this. I do have a friend that listens to this. And he called me about 3 weeks ago and said, what the fuck's up with the podcast, man? I listened to that on the treadmill, and I don't have any new treadmill podcast. Like, there hasn't been a new one.
In all honesty, I've had 3 people reach out to me as well.
Really?
We're frustrated because we got behind.
I was shocked that anybody gave
did you all really quit? Why didn't y'all put anything out?
I used to send a vendor email to all my Reptile Show vendors. Every month, it was pretty much the same email. Here's where we're going to park. Here's what time the show hours are. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody ever read the son of a bitch. I didn't send it one time. And I got like 4 or 5 phone calls, people freaking out. Hey, I didn't get the vendor email. Where am I supposed to? The same fucking place you always park or whatever.
But for those 4 people,
I guess
they like that newsletter every week.
Every now and then people actually pay attention. And humanity surprises me every now and then, I guess. We need somewhere else to go with this conversation. Because I'm just going to level with you and tell you, we've only logged 43 minutes so far.
I think that's plenty.
Is that
plenty? We gave them what they wanted.
It was a good 43.
It was.
I guess it might have been
we
30 of it.
Dog shit. We got a lot covered.
It might have been. That might be okay. All right, coming up next Thursday, if you're in town, I should be around. The following week, I'm dead in the middle of con week, which there's an off chance we could do something goofy for that. I don't know what, but anyway, I guess that's it.
All right.
That's
a good one.
I'll go back and check this file.
All right.
See you
later. And just like that, another episode of Two Guys, Two Questions is in the books.
We laughed, we learned. Well, we mostly just laughed.
Yeah, and if you made it this far, congratulations. You now have random knowledge you never asked for.
You're welcome.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. Or don't, but just know if you don't, we're bringing back the squeaky toys.
Oh, it's coming back either way.
Until next time, same two guys, two questions, and absolutely no idea what we're doing.
Perfect.